Welcome class back to chapter 5, if statements. This is the second video of 3 videos for chapter 5. In this video we'll cover the objectives if statements, if else statements, and the if, elif, else chain. So with an if statement, what we're simply trying to do is to see if this conditional test will evaluate to true. If it evaluates to true, then we're going to do the line that follows the line that is indented. Okay, so in this example we have age equal 19. If 19 is greater than or equal to 18, which it is, we're going to do these 2 print statements. So let's come over and look at this example. We have voting. Okay, and here it just has the 1 print statement. So I'm going to go ahead and run it. Okay, and we get the output, you are old enough to vote, because 19 is greater than or equal to 18. I've added the 1 additional print statement, and let's go ahead and rerun it. Okay, so now I get both of those print statements. Next, let's look at the if-else statement. So if this condition is true, let's do this portion. Else, if this condition is false, let's go ahead and do this. So let's go ahead and add the else in here to our voting.py file. Okay, so I've updated the age to 17 so that this test here will become false, so that the else will go ahead and execute. Okay, so it says, sorry, you are too young to vote. Okay, please register to vote as soon as you turn 18. Next, we'll look at the if, elif, else chain. So if we need to test more than 2 possible true situations, we're going to use an elif. So if age is less than 4, or if age is less than 18. Now, if neither of those conditions evaluate to true, that's when the else will execute. So let's go ahead and look at our amusement park. Okay, age 12, 12 is not less than 4, but 12 is less than 18. So when we run this file, we get the output, your admission cost is $25, which happens to be this particular print statement. Now, how could we write this, refactor this code in a little different way so that we're not continually doing a print statement within each of the ifs or the else clause? We could simply take this statement, okay, place it outside of here, so outside of the structure, okay, and in here we could say price is equal to 0, okay, and we could continue to repeat this. Price is 25 here. Price is $40 here. So when we write this statement out, we want to use an F string, which we have. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and put price in here instead of hard coding it in each individual print statement. So let's go ahead and run. Okay, and actually let's change the age here to be 25. Okay, your admission cost is $40. If we were to change this to 2 and run it, your admission cost is 0. And if we change it back here to 12, we get the admission cost of $25. Okay, we can also use multiple elif blocks. Okay, so we can have, in our case right now we have the if and the elif, but we can have as many elifs if we need to. So let's go ahead and add in 1 more here. Okay, additional elif, age less than 65. Okay, and then else 20. So if we change this to say 72 and run it, okay, your admission cost is now 20. Okay, so let's look at these and how they work. So Python is very smart when it comes to conditional tests. It's very good at everything else too. But what this statement says is here is we're going to grab the ages of 0, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, this one right here is ages 4 through 17. So I don't have to do a conditional test where I say if age is greater than 3 and age is less than 18. Python knows, since I have an if test up here, that this is going to be true here, right? So it knows that the boundary rate here is 4 through 17. Same thing here. It knows that the boundary is 18 because the previous test said less than 18. So 18 through 64. Okay, and then everything here for the else is going to be 65 plus. Okay, so when you're coding your lab, I want you to keep that in mind. I don't want you to do the and conditions. Just know that the previous if is taking care of that boundary on the bottom. We can also omit the else block. So else is not required of an if elif structure. It's not even required with just a single if. Okay, it is there, it's optional. Okay, so in this case, instead of doing the else, we've coded the elif age greater than or equal to 65. So if we just update ours here, elif age greater than or equal to 65, right, we essentially have the same test. So if I run it again, I get the emission cost of $20. I can test multiple conditions by doing a series of single if statements. So in this case, we're working with a list called requested toppings. It's got 2 values in it. Okay, if mushrooms is in requested toppings, we do a print statement. If pepperoni in requested toppings, nope, that's false. So that this print statement is not executed. And if extra cheese in requested toppings, we say adding extra cheese. And at the end, single lone print statement outside of this these if structures. Okay, finished making your pizza. So this is toppings. This is the code that we just ran through. So if I run it over here, same thing, adding mushrooms, adding extra cheese, finished making your pizza. Now, if we want a series of not single if statements, but other possible if situations, then we use an elif, so testing multiple conditions. So if this one is true, or if this one is true, or if this one is true. Okay, keep in mind the first one that it executes and evaluates to true in an if-elif, okay, structure is the one that it will execute with the body of the print statements or the statements within that if or elif, okay, and then it exits. So in this case, we only get adding mushrooms because this one is the first one that is true. So if we take it over here and we do the same thing, so elif, okay, and we run it, okay, we get adding mushrooms because again, this is the first one that evaluated to be true, and then we exit out of the if-elif structure. So you have to ask yourself, do I need multiple conditions like an or situation, or do I need a series of conditions where I need to test each of them individually? So let's look at our lab for this section, and it is 5-6, stages of life. Write an if, elif, else chain, determines a person's stage of life, set a value for the variable age, and then. Okay, so much like our amusement park, right? Okay, if a person is less than 2 years old, I print a message that the person is a baby. Okay, so maybe you say stage equal baby. Okay, I want you to kind of ignore what they do here, because remember I talked about how with the amusement park that since the previous if had the bottom boundary, okay, you really only need to think about the top boundary. So if the person is less than 4, so we don't need to do those and conditions. If a person is less than 13 and so on. Okay, I want you to format it like we talked about with the price example. Okay, so like amusement park. Okay, so where you set the stage, okay, with each one of these, and then you have this single print statement down here at the bottom. And that class wraps up this section of if statements, if else statements, if else chain. If you have questions on your 5-6 lab or any other examples, please let me know. Thank you.